The Golden Thread, based on A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens, 1859. The afternoon sunlight streamed through the tall windows of the Manette house in Soho, casting golden patterns across the polished wooden floors. In the cosy sitting room, a scene of domestic tranquility unfolded that would have warmed the heart of any observer fortunate enough to witness it. Dr. Alexandre Manette sat in his favorite armchair, his gentle hands working carefully at his shoemaking, a habit that remained from his long years of imprisonment, though now it brought him comfort rather than mere survival. His silver hair caught the light as he bent over his work, his face bearing the peaceful expression of a man who had found his way back to happiness after long darkness. Nearby, his daughter Lucy moved about the room like a ray of sunshine made flesh. Her golden hair, that precious golden thread that bound their small household together, seemed to capture and reflect every beam of light that entered the room. She arranged flowers in a crystal vase, her movements graceful and unhurried, humming a soft melody that filled the space with warmth. "Papa," she said gently, glancing over at her father, "shall I ring for tea? Mr. Lorry said he might call this afternoon, and you know how he enjoys our little gatherings." Dr. Manette looked up from his work, his eyes lighting with the special radiance they always held when they fell upon his daughter. For so many years he had lived in a world of shadows, knowing nothing of this beautiful young woman who washes own flesh and blood. Now every moment with her felt like a precious gift. "That would be lovely, my dear," he replied, setting down his tools. "And perhaps you might play for us afterward? Your music always seems to chase away any lingering shadows." Lucy smiled that radiant smile that had the power to transform the plainest room into a palace of joy. She moved to the piano that stood against the far wall, running her fingers gently across the keys. The soft notes that emerged seemed to weave themselves into the very fabric of the room, creating an atmosphere of such peace and contentment that it was hard to believe the world beyond these walls could contain any sorrow. As if summoned by the music itself, the sound of footsteps could be heard on the stairs outside. Soon, Mr. Jarvis Lorry appeared in the doorway, his kind face beaming with the particular happiness that always overcame him when he visited this household. Behind him came Charles Darnay, the young French gentleman whose eyes always seemed to seek out Lucia the moment he entered any room she graced. "My dear friends," Mr. Lorry exclaimed, settling into his customary chair, "what a picture of happiness you make! Dr. Manette, you look more yourself with each passing day." It was true. The broken man who had been recalled to life from his long imprisonment had gradually been rebuilt through his daughter's patient love. Lucy had indeed been the golden thread that had sewn him back together, stitch by careful stitch, until he was whole again. Charles Darnay took his usual place near the window, though his attention remained fixed on Lucy as she continued to play. There was something in his manner, a devotion so pure and evident, that spoke of a heart entirely given over to love. "Tell us about your day, Papa," Lucy said, her fingers still dancing across the keys. "Did you walk in the garden this morning? The roses are particularly beautiful just now." As Dr. Manette began to speak of simple, everyday pleasures, the roses, the morning air, the satisfaction of his cobbler's work, it became clear that this was a man who had learned to treasure the ordinary miracles of a peaceful life. In this quiet corner of London, surrounded by those who loved him, Dr. Manette had found something more valuable than any treasure: the simple joy of being home, being whole, and being loved by his golden thread of a daughter, who had woven his scattered pieces back into a complete and happy man.